Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. My name is Harshmeet Singh and this is episode number 6 of the Prelims 2022 Hack Series. Today's episode is very special. Special in the sense that today I am not going to be giving you any mnemonics. I'm not going to be giving you any funny or unfunny phrases to remember more information. Rather, we are today going to be discussing what to do with all this information. In simple terms, how to attempt most number of questions in the prelims examinations. Are there some tricks? Are there some things that you should keep in mind which can help you in attempting not 70 but 80 questions? Which can help you in getting those 4 or 5 questions right, which can actually make or break the game for you? The answer is yes. There are a few indicators in these questions of the UPSC Prelims examinations that can help you in attempting more questions than you otherwise would. So this is the trick session for the UPSC 2022 Prelims examination. Now do remember the fact that when you go in the Prelims examination, even if you have prepared with all your heart for 1 year or 2 years, there is a very good chance that when you see the prelims paper, at max, you will only know the correct answer to 40 to 45 questions. You will only be absolutely certain about 40 to 45 questions and then you will be able to mark these 40 to 45. But is this a good enough attempt? Obviously not. Even if you get all the 45 questions right, you will only get 90 marks, which in most cases will not be sufficient for you to clear the prelims examination. That now brings us to the next point. How to attempt more questions. You will always be confused between two options in at least 25 to 30 questions. There will always be 25 to 30 questions where you have eliminated two options, but you will be stuck between the other two. There may also be 8 to 10 questions where you are confused between three options, where you have successfully eliminated at least one, but you are still not sure about what can be the answer. And then there can be some questions which go over the top where you are confused between all those four. For now, just leave out these ones where you are confused between all those four options. We are not advising you to attempt any of those questions. You would obviously attempt all those questions where you are confident about all the answers. But this is the tricky part, where you are confused between two options and where you are confused between three options. Now, how to take up those questions and what to do in these questions. First and the biggest thing that you have to remember for the UPSC Prelims examination is when you see a statement which has extreme words such as never, always, only, all, none. These words usually end up in a wrong statement. And I will show you multiple examples to prove my point here. Before I go ahead, however, there is one thing that I would like to clarify here. This does not mean that as soon as you see the word never or only written in the statement, you just mark it incorrectly. Please don't do that. Only apply this if you are uncertain of the statement. Only apply this when you are not sure if the statement is correct or not. If you already have enough knowledge through which you can solve the question, there is nothing like that. That is absolutely the best way to go forward. This will only be applicable if you are not sure between a couple of options and you are not sure whether the statement is true or not. In those cases, usually, again, we are very careful in using the word usually. Usually you will see that the statement is wrong whenever there is an extreme word mentioned. You can see this in the previous papers of UPSC. When you have these extreme words mentioned, in 80 to 85% of cases, the statement will be wrong. And let me prove it to you with multiple examples. Now, I am going to show you some previous year questions, about 10 or 12 of them, of 2020, 2019 also, and maybe a few of 2018 as well. These questions in certain statements have these words, that is all, always, never, none, only, and we will see how in most of these cases those statements specifically turn out to be false. Now, when you have eliminated that statement, either if you are lucky it will give you the correct answer, or if not, it will at least help you in eliminating one or two options and then you can go ahead. Let's see this question of the UPSC Prelims 2020. The question is about, in India, Legal services authorities provide free legal service to which of the following types of citizens? And there are 4 statements given. Now, most people who attempted the prelims of 2020 found it a very difficult question, and it is a difficult question because you need to have a lot of facts to solve this. Now, if you look at the statements carefully, let's look at the 4th statement. The 4th statement says all senior citizens. The word all is mentioned here, right? That all senior citizens are covered. This is wrong. All senior citizens are not covered. If you just eliminate statement number 4, you can easily eliminate B and you can eliminate D. Now there's a choice between A and C. So your probability of getting the answer correct has been increased from 25% to 50%. Now, even if you don't know any other statement and you just close your eyes and mark an answer, there is still a 50% chance that you will get it right just by using this technique of avoiding the extreme statements unless you're absolutely sure. Let's go to the other example. Again, in 2020, there was a question which says, a parliamentary system of government is one in which, now there are 4 options that are given. I assume in this question, most of you would already know the answer, but just to apply the logic we have discussed here. The first statement is, all political parties in the parliament are represented in the government. That is wrong. As a fact, it is wrong. And also the word here, all, indicates it's an extreme statement, and that is why it is wrong. And you can choose your answer from the others. Even if you eliminate one of the statements, it increases your probability of getting the question correct. In some cases, it might even directly tell you the answer. And I will come on to those examples as well. That is, in certain questions, if you eliminate that particular statement with an extreme word, it will directly tell you the answer. There was a question which says, with reference to blockchain technology, consider the following statements. It was again asked in 2020. Now, look at the second statement. The second statement says, structure and design of blockchain is such that all the data in it are about cryptocurrency only. Again, the word only is an extreme word. It is limiting this, and that is why this statement, that is statement number 2, is wrong. That helps you to eliminate option B and option C. You're only left with A and D, and you just have to decide whether third statement is correct or not. Again, as I said earlier, it increases your probability from 25% to 50% to get this question right. Now, the next question is one of those which I told you earlier, where just eliminating that extreme statement will get you directly to the answer. The question was, in India, which of the following can be considered as public investment in agriculture? Let's look at the first statement. It says, fixing minimum support price for agricultural produce of all the crops. The word all here indicates it is an incorrect statement. Just eliminate the first statement and you will get to the answer, that is C. 2, 3 and 6. Again, we are here to help you with these tricks, but I am requesting you, please don't do this that as soon as you see the word all or never or none, you close your eyes and mark it incorrectly. Please don't do that. That approach can be very dangerous. Please only apply this if you are not sure about this particular statement, if it is true or false. If you already have knowledge about it and you can solve it based on your knowledge, that will be a perfect way forward. This is only to be applied when you are not sure and the number of questions that you have already attempted in the prelims examination are not enough and you have to attempt more. Then there was a question which says, consider the following statements. In case of all cereals, pulses and oilseeds, procurement at MSP is unlimited in any state and UT of India. In fact, this statement has 2 extreme words, all and unlimited. Statement is wrong. Second, in the case of cereals and pulses, the MSP is fixed in any state at the level to which the market price will never rise. And guess what? Both the statements are wrong. The answer here is D. Simple and easy. Apply this logic and it will certainly help you in going through 4 or 5 more questions. We are still at previous year question of 2020 only. We have seen multiple questions having this particular word. Here is one more for you. What are the advantages of fertigation in agriculture? Look at these statements and now see, can you spot any extreme word mentioned here or not? Just look at these statements. First, controlling the alkalinity of irrigation water is possible. No extreme word. Second, efficient application of rock phosphate and all other phosphatic fertilizers is possible. Guess what? The statement is wrong. It does not apply to all the phosphatic fertilizers. So if you eliminate the second statement, that means A can't be the answer, B can't be the answer, D can't be the answer, and guess what? You already have the correct answer C without even knowing the other statements. Do go with this approach to increase the number of questions that you can attempt. Then let's come to some questions of 2019 which had exactly the same characteristics. It said, consider the following statement. It's about Ramsar sites. Let's look at the first statement. It makes it mandatory on part of the government of India to protect and conserve all the wetlands in the territory of India. That is wrong. It's not wrong because the word all is mentioned here. It's just wrong because it is not mandatory on the government. But even in that case, the logic will apply. The first statement is wrong and you can easily eliminate A and D from here. So the logic is still holding true in all these questions. Next, there was a question, consider the following statements. Number one, most of India's external debt is owed by governmental entities. Let's assume we don't know the first statement. Okay? Let's assume we have no knowledge about the first statement or even the second statement. The second statement is all of India's external debt is nominated in US dollars. Is it right or wrong? It is wrong. Either you know it, even then it is wrong, or the word all here is making it an extreme statement, and that is why second statement is wrong. Means B and C, both of these can't be the answers. You have to choose either between A or D. So again, it has drastically increased your probability of getting this answer correct just by eliminating a statement based on that extreme word. 2019 again had a question. As per the Solid Waste Management Rules 2016 in India, which one of the following statements is correct? Now, see it for yourself and see if you find any extreme word or a limiting word, and can you eliminate that statement based on that word. Look carefully at the statement number 2. It says, rules are applicable to notified urban local bodies, notified towns, and all industrial townships only. Again, it is limiting the application. Any word that is limiting or it is extreme will be wrong, and that is why eliminate statement B. B cannot be the answer. You can choose amongst the others. It will increase your probability of getting the answer right, but you cannot choose the option B. That will be the wrong option because of the presence of this extreme word. 2019 had this question also. The economic cost of food grains to the Food Corporation of India is the minimum support price and the bonus, if any, paid to the farmers plus, now see the words only and see the words only. B and A both are wrong. I'm leaving it to you to check up what is the correct answer in these questions, but I'm telling you which statement can you just cancel out based on these extreme words. That will make your life much easier. That will help you in attempting instead of 70, 80 or 85 questions the prelims examinations, and that will help you get over the line. Now, this is one thing that you have to keep in mind while solving the prelims questions, that is, avoid the extreme and the limiting words as much as possible. Now, the other question that we have in our mind is, how many questions do we attempt? Now, this is not a question which has a specific answer. It really depends on paper to paper. Yes, you should at least go ahead with 70-75 questions. Even in the toughest of papers, you can't afford to attempt only 50-55 questions, because be rest assured your probability of marking the correct answer will never be 100%. You will always get some answers wrong, and that is why you have to have at least some margin so that even if you get some questions wrong, you can still make it up. So usually it's assumed that anything over 75 is a fair attempt, 75, 80, 85, depending upon your knowledge, depending upon the level of the paper at that time. Now, a lot of people have a strategy that they will only attempt those questions where they are 100% sure about the answer. Now, this can be one of the worst strategies that you can go ahead with. Because as I said in the beginning of this episode, you will never be sure about more than 40-45 questions. There will always be a lot of questions where you're confused between two options. Now let's take a scenario right now, just for calculation's sake, that there are 30 questions in the prelims where you are confused between two options. You have successfully eliminated the other two, but you are not sure out of the remaining two which is the answer. Now the law of probability says that if you just close your eyes, be blind and mark any of the two options, the law of probability says that you will get 50% right and 50% wrong, right? If you toss a coin 30 times, the probability is 15 times it will be heads, 15 times it will be tail. So let's just go with the normal probability. As per this probability, you should get 15 questions correct and 15 questions incorrect, right? Now let's calculate how much would that be. 15 correct questions means you will get plus 30. 15 wrong questions means you will get minus 10. What is the end result? The end result is 20 marks. You are still getting 20 marks by attempting those 30 questions where you're confused between two options just on pure probability. Now I know many of you are thinking, but sir, it does not work with me. Almost every student here who is watching this video thinks that he or she has the worst possible luck. I'm sure you are also one of them. You also think that the answer that I mark will always be wrong, right? Now let's assume that for a minute. Let's assume that you have a very bad luck and the probability of 50-50 will never work on you. Let's assume that for a moment. So what can be the worst that you can do? The worst that you can do here is out of 30 questions, let's say you attempt those where you're confused between two options. The worst is, let's say you get 20 wrong and only 10 correct. That seems something like that you can do, right? You can only get 10 correct and 20 wrong. Let's assume how bad that will be. 10 correct will still get you plus 20. 20 incorrect will still get you minus 13.2. And the end result, you still are in the positive, you still get 6.8 marks. That is why I'm trying to tell you, if you are confused between two options, you have to attempt those questions, even if you have no idea about the remaining two statements. Because the law of probability says even if you are 1/3 correct, even if you mark 10 answers correct out of 30, you get 20 answers wrong, even then you are in positive, and the 6.8 marks can make a hell lot of a difference in the eventual prelims result. These are the two biggest tricks I want to discuss with you, apart from the mnemonics that we have been sharing. I hope this was helpful for all of you. Thank you so much for watching the video.